Welcome to my channel. My name is Kate, and here on my channel I talk about true crime, mysteries, history, and anything that interests me. Please remember to show your support by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and hitting the notification bell so that you never miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you so much for being here with me. It means the absolute world to me. Make sure to get cozy, maybe grab a snack, just one snack, about 25 minutes this video, and let's dive into another true crime story. Well, I think it's a true crime story. It does seem quite suspicious, so I'm going to call it a true crime story. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the unsolved death of Joshua Maddux. So let's jump in. On a sunny Monday afternoon in May of 2008, 18-year-old Joshua Maddux mentioned that he was going for a walk. He lived with his dad, Mike, and his two sisters, Ruth and Kate. Good name. They had a cute little home in Colorado's Pine National Forest. So Josh was a really big fan of nature, and he would regularly take walks in the lush surroundings. And his family, they didn't think twice about it when, he headed off to go bush. So when it got dark and there was still no sign of Josh, that's when his dad started to worry. Just a little bit, not too much. He knew Josh was the type to lose track of time and possibly disappear for days. So he figured that Josh would show up when he felt like it, probably with some crazy story to share. Even though Josh was usually a relaxed, chill sort of guy who didn't worry too much, he had been through some really tough times. So in 2006, his brother Zachary actually passed away. He committed suicide when he was only 18 years old. This was really hard for their entire family, but apparently it hit Josh the hardest. Despite his pain, he tried to stay strong and live life for both himself and his brother. So after not hearing from Josh for 5 days, Mike started to get really, really worried. He would have shown up by now, and he told the police that Josh was missing. So family and friends of Josh started looking for him. They searched and searched weeks, months, and then it turned into years, but they couldn't find him. Even though they looked everywhere, they just could not find him. So they eventually kind of stopped looking. Over the years, Josh's family kept hoping that he was just off living a really great life somewhere out there. They thought he might have left town to pursue a career in writing and music. They imagined that he would come back successful with a guitar on his back and a big smile on his face. But unfortunately, things didn't quite turn out the way they hoped. So on August the 7th, 2015, 7 years after Josh went missing in the woods, a demolition crew uncovered mummified human remains inside the chimney of a cabin they were in the process of dismantling. Sadly, dental records would later confirm that the body was Josh. When they were tearing down this old empty cabin in the gorgeous area outside Colorado Springs to build new houses, they stumbled across something horrific. Imagine pulling a building apart and you find a mummified human body. That would be absolutely terrifying. Also, Charles Murphy, the guy who owned the cabin, he was there, and he had a strong feeling that something really bad had gone down on his property. It just didn't seem right. All of the people who were looking for Josh after he went missing wished that they had have checked the cabin more thoroughly. They never thought to go inside without permission, and even if they had, they probably wouldn't have looked up or down the chimney. So during the autopsy, it was determined that Josh had died not too long after he went missing. His body, it had no signs of real trauma. There were no bullet holes, there were no stab wounds, no broken bones or blunt force injuries, and no evidence of drug use. None of that was detected in the remaining tissue or hair samples. So what happened to Josh? How did he get in that chimney? And with nothing to indicate foul play, his death was ultimately ruled accidental, most likely as a result of hypothermia or dehydration. But how did he get in the chimney? People in the community, including Josh's family, they disagreed with the coroner's conclusions. It wasn't ringing right for them. For one thing, his body was found like folded in half. He was like in the fetal position with his feet above his head. And his body had been found wearing only his shirt, nothing else. So, what? Josh's pants, shoes, and socks, they were found inside the cabin, over by the fireplace, even though it looked like he had attempted to come down the chimney head first, no less, like from outside. So how did his things get there? Doesn't make sense, right? Also, Charles Murphy, the owner of the property, was really against the idea that Josh accidentally got stuck in the chimney and died. He said it was impossible for Josh to have entered the chimney because there was a strong wire mesh and steel bars to keep animals and intruders out. Unfortunately, the mesh and bars had actually been removed before the body was found, and they could have been important evidence in this investigation. So we don't know. We don't know. During the time when Josh was missing, Charles, the owner of this building, made occasional visits to his cabin for storage purposes, just to check on his cabin. And he was completely unaware every time that he visited that there was a body in his chimney. Although he sometimes noticed that there was a foul smell, Charles thought that it may have just been rodents or, maybe like a possum or something. He didn't think that there would be a human deceased in his building. So Josh's fate, it remained a mystery, but the sinister possibilities were very clear. The remote location of this cabin provided the perfect cover for any perpetrator to conceal evidence of foul play. Tucked away among lofty pine trees, the structure stood isolated and seemingly impervious to external sounds. If Josh had encountered misfortune or found himself trapped in the chimney, his desperate pleas for help would have been muffled by the deafening silence of the surroundings. But someone might have heard him. People were looking for him for a while. Even though he initially supported his decision, the county coroner, Al Bourne, decided to take another look at this case because some new information came to light. So as a result, the official reason for Josh's death was changed, and it was changed to undetermined. Yep. After the coroner's initial determination of accidental death, the police, they didn't pursue Josh's case further, but despite their lack of interest, people from the community, they were all talking, and they started to reach out to each other and also to the police. They were giving each other tips, and the police tips. Strikingly, all of these tips pointed to a man, one man. Well, not all, but most of these tips pointed to one man, and this guy was called Andrew Richard Newman, and he was like the prime suspect. You're about to find out why. So those who knew both Josh and Andrew said that they started spending quite a bit of time together, like hanging out just before Josh went missing. They became quite close because they both loved playing the guitar, and even though they had that in common, they were different in just about every other way. So they had that one thing in common. Josh was always like the laid back type. He was chill. He never seemed to get stressed out by anything. He was quite a happy dude. But on the flip side, Andrew was known for causing trouble and having a bit of a sketchy reputation. Josh didn't seem to notice there were warning signs about his new friend Andrew, even though everybody else could see these warning signs quite clearly. So the tipsters, they started talking, and they said that they had heard Andrew Newman bragging that he had put him in a hole, referring to Josh. But when this information was reported to the police, it wasn't immediately acted upon. You'd think, they would take this and be like, whoa, like, we got something. But nah, it's bloody annoying. So Josh's friends decided to take it upon themselves to dig deeper into Andrew Newman. And they found some stuff. It turned out that Andrew, he had been in quite a bit of trouble before with the law. So yeah, get this. When Andrew moved from Colorado to New Mexico, he was suspected of being involved in the stabbing death of a disabled man. That's right. It's like, it looks real bad for him right now, right? Yeah. And he was known to be quite hot-headed. Yeah. So it turns out that Andrew had become friends with a man who worked as a caregiver for that disabled man. And he would kind of just hang out with them, and he would spend time at this disabled man's house. And one day, while Andrew's friend was taking a shower, because he kind of just left Andrew in the living room with this disabled guy, and he went and took a shower, which is completely fine. You're allowed to take a shower. And then he came back out after taking a shower, and he discovered something really, really horrible. So Andrew's friend, he came out of the shower, and he found that Andrew was completely gone, and the guy that he looked after, this disabled guy, was laying in a pool of blood. This poor man had been viciously attacked. Viciously. So at the time, the police went looking for Andrew, and when they finally did catch up with him, he denied having any involvement in that case. But then he fully confessed. Yeah, he just, not to this case, but he went on and fully confessed to killing a woman in New Mexico and then stuffing her body into a barrel. So, what? Yeah, it looks really bad for Andrew, right? Maybe he did have something to do with Josh's death. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. So then when the police checked his story, they discovered that that crime of that woman who was killed and stuffed in a barrel actually matched a real crime that they knew about. However, because the authorities in New Mexico had already captured their main suspect and had him in custody for that murder, they decided to stick with the person they already had rather than starting a new investigation into Andrew. Stupid, I know. It's ridiculous. This shit really bothers me, honestly. It's just so stupid. So Andrew Newman was never charged or even really questioned in regards to that case. Either cases, really. The disabled man, he was stabbed to death while his caregiver was taking a shower, literally in the next room. And even though the only person who was there said that Andrew was the only one who could have possibly done it, that person, sadly, he didn't live to see any sort of a court date. Because unfortunately, during the investigation, this caregiver of this disabled man, he was killed. So he was killed in a bar fight. So horrible. With no one else to come forward as a witness, that case kind of just fizzled out and it was put on the back burner. Horrible. Both of these crimes happened while Josh was still missing. Yeah. And now there are no living witnesses and the suspect refused to admit guilt. So the case, it was put on hold. What's really frustrating is that Andrew Newman's name, it just seems to like come up quite often with these cases, it's linked to all three of these deaths. He's either innocent, which I don't think he is, or the luckiest guy in the world at getting away with shit. Like literally getting away with murder. So Andrew was actually arrested, not for these crimes though, in Texas in December of 2018. So he robbed a place in Florida, and when he went to jail, he reportedly assaulted 3 officers in March of 2019. Then in February, on February 14th, 2024, he was arrested in Orlando, Florida for alcohol-related offences. Like really recently. What's that, 2 months ago? 3 months ago? No, wait, what are we now? June. Oh my god, it's June. Half the year's nearly gone. Oh my god. Anyway, like this is recent. 2024. So currently we don't actually know where he is. He's running around free. Yeah. Sadly, we may never know exactly what happened in the final hours of Josh's life. Despite the coroner's belief that Josh likely passed away due to extreme cold, the unusual circumstances of his death are not in doubt. Hypothermia, which is a really dangerous condition, it's horrible. Like hypothermia, it's a killer. It's where the body's core temperature drops to really, really low. It can occur when the temperature feels colder than 50 degrees Fahrenheit. On the day that Josh went missing, it was 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was quite dry, but the temperature dropped to 38 overnight, so quite cold. And the weather for the next 3 days, it was pretty similar, so it kind of carried on like that. So quite easily he could have got hypothermia. The cold weather definitely made it seem like Josh could have died from getting too cold, but there are other things to think about. One of them is the fact that his body was found in a freaking chimney in a strange position, and some people think that means the coroner may be wrong about what caused his death. What the heck was he doing in a chimney? Was he trying to break into a cabin? But then why were his clothes like neatly folded? And yeah, that's right, they were neatly folded and like put nicely. So why would he do that? Had Josh already been inside the cabin? It appears that way, right? Because they found his clothes in the living room. It just doesn't make sense for him to go outside and climb onto a roof and then climb down a chimney when he already had easy access inside the place. And they didn't find any drugs in his system or alcohol or anything. It just doesn't seem right if he had access through a door. What are you guys' thoughts? Let me know. Also, during the demolition, Charles Murphy and his team, they found a wooden breakfast nook that had been moved, and it was moved to block the fireplace from the inside. Yeah. Sounds really bad, right? It's like this guy did not lose his life for no reason. Like this, someone did this. It's unclear if this happened before or after Josh got stuck in the chimney, but it doesn't look good. It's possible that if this barrier had been there before Josh got stuck, he wouldn't have tried to go down the chimney. But if the barrier was put there later, it could mean someone was trying to block the fireplace for shady reasons. Some people think that Josh, who we know did like to wander around in the woods, may have seen something. Maybe something happened out in the woods that he wasn't supposed to see, and maybe somebody killed him for that. Instead of revealing their secrets, the person he met might have knocked him out and put him in the chimney, knowing he couldn't get out by himself. But that's a lot of work, right? Like climbing up onto a roof and putting someone in a chimney. Who the heck would go through that kind of effort? Surely there's other ways of getting rid of someone. I guess it's a possibility, but come on. Also, the people who think that someone may have been involved in Josh's death are puzzled by the fact that he wasn't wearing his clothing. He had a shirt on. On the other hand, those who believe that he died from hypothermia point out that this condition can make people feel like they're really hot when they're actually freezing, causing them to take off their clothes in an attempt to cool down. So there's that, but also the clothes were like nicely at the bottom. Like, inside. But also his body, it was found like kind of disjointed and vertically folded in half, like his legs were over his head. So how would Josh be able to remove his pants, undergarments, shoes and socks in like that kind of position? It doesn't sound like it's possible. What do you guys think? He would have had to, you know, take them off, take all that stuff off, and then like toss them down like in a neat kind of way, like with precise precision, in order for them to end up in the area that they did, just beyond the fireplace. I guess anything's possible, but it just doesn't sound right to me. Let me know. To this day, it is still believed by police that Josh's death was accidental, and this is unlikely to change. The police have indicated that because the coroner did not find any evidence of a crime, they are unable to take further action in the case. Really? I feel like they can. It's heartbreaking to think of Josh's dreams of playing his music to adoring crowds, only to have those dreams shattered one spring day when he went for a walk and never returned. The events that unfolded after he reached that cabin, just a quarter mile from his family home, remain enveloped in mystery. Family and friends of Josh, who he passed away about 16 years ago, believe that someone out there did this, and they know what really happened, and the family needs this closure. They need to know what actually happened. They're hopeful that one day the truth will come out and somebody will be punished and give them that closure that they've been waiting for so long. I mean, 16 years. But until then, they're holding on to hope and waiting for the answers that they seek. I really do hope that one day they are able to solve this case. They just need to pull their finger out of their asses. I know I shouldn't say that, but they need to like really like look into this case, because it doesn't sound right. And there are other true crime storytellers who've talked about this case and they feel the same. If I find out anything new, I will make an updated video. Yeah. What do you guys think about this case? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below, and please do not forget to hit the like button, turn on the notifications button, and subscribe for more of my videos. I am now 30 hours away from being monetized. I know, I'm gonna be able to start making money soon. Yay, exciting. And if you want to hit that super thanks. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. You guys are absolutely amazing. I love you guys to death. And this is a really sad freaking story, and I don't believe that he killed himself. No, I don't believe that he climbed up onto the roof. So this is weird. It's like they think he went into the cabin, put his clothes, and then was like, go out and then come back in. Unless he like locked himself out, but there's no evidence that that happened. Climbed up onto the roof and then shimmied down the chimney face first. Like, who would go down a chimney head first? Like, if I'm gonna climb down a chimney, which I wouldn't, but if I was gonna climb down a chimney, I would like kind of do that whole like hand on each side of the wall and like, yeah. But this fella, he like, unless he like tripped or something, but what the heck was he doing up in the chimney? What do you guys think? Let me know. It's always good to hear like what other people's opinions are on these stories. It is cold today and I have a slight headache. I feel like I always have headaches. I know I keep looking over there because I keep seeing something in the corner of my eye. I don't know what it is. My son reckons the house is haunted. Possibilities. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope we're all having a fantastic day, and please remember to support my channel. Watch my videos. Get me to monetization. Come on guys, we can do this. Just chuck my videos on, let them run. Alright, have a great day guys. Bye.